Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners. Today we're going to tie a Hackle Stacker emerging sulfur. Here I have one done here, and this is what it's going to look like. And the hook I tied them on is an 80000. It is a size 14. It is a standard dry fly hook, greencaddis.com. So we're going to change out these hooks. The thread I'm going to use is Vivus 14-aught. This is a light Cahill color. It's a light yellow. And the only reason I'm using the 14-aught is because I have it strung in my bobbin already. We're going to start the thread behind the eye and put down that layer of thread to the halfway point. And we're going to come back forward half of that. Now for our wing post, I have a poly yarn, and I use half of the width of the poly yarn. And I only have a piece that's maybe about 1.5 to 2 inches max. You don't need a big long piece. We're going to tie that in there. Tie that in going forward. And then put a few wraps around the wing post. Grab that wing post every time and pull that tight. You can wrap it right off it very easily. See? Just want to give you a look at that. And get yourself a decent base started. I'm going to bring this back down. Pull off any of those loose fibers there. I can see it, just can't grab it. There we go. Now we're going to take the thread back to the tail position. Keep those wraps nice and tight. And stop where it would hang at the bar. Now for the trailing shuck, I'm going to use the rusty brown bootlace. We're going to tie this in and tie all of that down. You get yourself a pair of the brown and yellow shoelaces and bootlaces and take them apart. Have yourself a lifetime supply of material. Now I'm going to cut this to length. I'm going to take this and get it opened up. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to push this, and I'm going to cut them at different lengths. Now for our body, I'm going to take sulfur orange dubbing. I'm going to turn my vise just a little bit so I get a little more finger room there. And we want to make a nice small noodle. You want to take your dubbing and take it to where you don't even think that there's any dubbing in your fingers. You get a nice noodle that's barely larger than the thread. Or you can put a larger amount on and make sure you stretch it pretty good. And I'm going to come back to the tail, and then I'm going to wrap it forward. And you make a little bit of a tapered body as you're going forward. And we can bring that right up to the wing post. Now the hackle I'm going to use a golden badger. You could use a regular cream color. That would be closer to what a sulfur pattern would be like. I'm going to stand them up 90 degrees, and I'm going to take about maybe 3/8 of an inch and trim that down with the crew cut. if you just peel them off, make sure you peel off 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. This is a little bit long here, so I'm going to trim that back. And I'm going to tie this in front of the wing post, and then bring that up to the wing post, and then wrap up the wing post with the hackle. This is where that good base that you started before comes in handy, and you're going to be able to wrap that without holding it. Once you get up higher, of course, you have to hold it. And you want to wrap that up to the top of that bare hackle stem. And I'm going to bring this back down. I'm going to put a little more dubbing on the body. Take just a small pinch once again. You can see here I got a bump there I got to fix. And that's just part of when I say you can always add more. There we go. And go do some crossover wraps on the around the wing post. And you can bring that thread right in front. You want to be about an eye length from the eye of the hook. Now I'm going to take the hackle and pull that down at a right angle there, and then wrap it. And it's okay if you don't have a perfect size hackle for the size hook, because this is going to be representing the wings mostly. Okay, let me get that under control there. Here we go. Hand it from your left hand to the hand that is holding the wing post, and that will keep it tight. And wrap that down the wing post. Whoop. And you want to have a decent amount of hackle there, so go ahead and wrap that pretty good. Now I'm going to tie the hackle off at the head instead of at the wing post. I'm going to pull everything out of the way and secure that hackle. And we can break that off. Take our scissors and trim away any that went forward. Now I'm going to take the hackle and I'm going to kind of split it and bring it towards the rear. Just like that. And pull the wing post over. This is really an easy fly to make. Keep all of those hackles out of the way and tie that down. Of course, you can use something besides poly yarn, but the poly yarn is good in the fact that when we trim it off, we could get it pretty close. I'm going to pull it back and put a few wraps in front of it. And then I'm going to remove it. And if you get a little piece of poly yarn, you know, you could leave that, or you could leave a little bigger spot piece if you'd like. And I'm going to leave that little piece, or I will block the eye. I'm going to take my whip finish Try not to get the hackles in there. I think I got one hackle. Now I'm sure if you use this during a sulfur hatch, this is going to be a very effective fly. If you tie this with a rusty body and a hackle stacker wing, you have a great spinner pattern. And here we have a hackle stacker sulfur emerger. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.